Core Concepts for Open Architecture AV Design. Chapter 12. Control Server Applications. The learning objectives for this chapter are to be able to identify and describe the function of the Symetrix Control Server, understand how to program control server applications with Composer software, access system status page to view system information, network information, and license information, use the Event Scheduler app to trigger presets based on date and time, describe the function of the Mixer app in Control Server, apply SymVue panels for Control Server. This training is an overview of the Control Server hardware and instruction for programming the currently available applications. The Control Server is a half-rack unit that provides end users browser-based control over any Symetrix Composer-based DSP. The rear panel has a 12 volts DC 2.5 amp power jack and a gigabit Ethernet port for Symetrix Composer host control, web-based administration, serving of end-user apps, and control over devices on the AV network. The Ethernet port also features auto crossover sensing for direct device-to-device connections. The front panel consists of two reverse polarity SMA auto switching omnidirectional antennae, a power LED, and a factory reset button. When setting up the Control Server for the first time, first place the Control Server, located in the Control Devices section and Toolkit, into your site file and locate. A USB port is provided to upgrade firmware from a USB drive, but is almost never necessary. The audio out 3.5mm jack is currently not usable and reserved for possible future use. When setting up the Control Server for the first time, start by logging into the admin account via the Configure Control Server button under the Control Server Unit Properties. In the Name section of the Unit Properties, both site file unit name and network name may be edited here. Here, you may enable or disable unit for use, change IP configuration, set unit as archive, and enable and open the Event Scheduler. This section allows for the setting of a network time protocol server address if needed. By default, this is disabled, and the unit uses your current computer time. You may configure the TCP communication mode via Configure Remote Control ports. Both the Manage Applications and Configure Control Server buttons are described in later sections. This button is used to reset the administrator login credentials of the web interface to default settings. This only affects admin name and password. No other information is reset. Side note, Composer releases of 8.5 and later may not have this button available as a security measure. Contact Symetrix technical support if this situation occurs. You may see the currently installed firmware version in this section. Updating firmware is done via the Configure Control Server button. You may edit both the module's text and background color, as well as save those settings as default for future units placed. When setting up the Control Server for the first time, start by logging into the admin account via the Configure Control Server button under the Control Server Unit Properties, or by typing the Control Server IP address in the address bar of any HTML web browser. After logging into the admin account, the browser will default to the System Status page. This page displays system information, network information, and license information. Clicking on the menu button in the upper right-hand corner of the window opens the navigation menu. Click on the Management submenu. This expands to show links to the applications, users, files, and network pages. The unit may also be upgraded and rebooted from here. Click Applications. The Applications page is used to install licenses and manage available apps. By default, the Control Server comes with 5 Mixer and 5 SymVue licenses and 1 Event Scheduler license. If needed, click on the Install License button to enter a license key. To manage an app, click on the app name. This opens the Selected Apps Manager. From here, manage the configurations pushed and exported to the Control Server from Composer. Either drag or click the arrow to move the configurations that can be assigned to users. The User Management page is used to create and allow user access to the Control Server's license configurations. To add a new user, click on the New User button. From here, set the username, password, logout time, and assign the app configurations that are available for that user. To manage a user account, click on the username. The User Manager allows the change of usernames, passwords, available apps, and user account deletion. The Network page is used to manage both Ethernet and wireless network interfaces and displays the current mode. It also displays the status of both interfaces. Click on the Ethernet interface to configure its mode. From here, the DHCP can be enabled or disabled. Click on the wireless interface to configure its mode. From here, set the wireless interface to AP mode, access point, client mode, or disabled. When AP mode is selected, there is also a quick config button for simple wireless configuration. This configures the Control Server to act as its own wireless access point. A controller device like a phone or tablet would then connect to the Control Server via a Wi-Fi SSID and passphrase, and access the control screen via the Control Server's IP address. Client mode allows you to connect Control Server wirelessly to an existing Wi-Fi network. The controlling device, like a phone or tablet, would then connect to the existing wireless network and simply access the control screen through the control server's IP address. The Scan for a Network button will find Wi-Fi networks within range, where you may select and log in to the desired network. Once a user has been created, they may log in with their credentials. User Dashboard shows all apps that have been assigned to an individual user. The Event Scheduler app is a control server application and is accessible by using any standard HTML web browser connected to the same network as the control server. The Event Scheduler is used to trigger presets created in a Composer site file at specified date and times. To configure the Event Scheduler for Control Server, the unit must be set as the event server for the entire site file. To launch the Event Scheduler for Control Server, you may enter the IP address of the unit followed by /event scheduler, as seen here, or press the Launch in Browser button. Or you may select the Event Scheduler directly from the user dashboard once signed into the account. Once opened, you're presented with the default month view of the schedule that shows all events for the current month. You may change the view via the selection menu at the top left. The week view shows the current week, Sunday through the following Saturday. The day view shows the current day in half-hour increments. The main menu is accessed on the top right and allows access to various supporting functions. Additionally, there are help topics, a home button that takes you back to the user dashboard, and a logout option. Click on New Event to create a new event that will trigger pre-made presets in your site file based on the schedule you select. You may name the event, and this is what is displayed in the schedule view, as well as choose the preset that this event engages. You may also select a label to identify the event with a colored banner. Once you've chosen the time, date, and occurrence, pressing OK will create the event, where it will appear in the schedule view. You may customize labels to your needs and change the color of the event background by clicking on the colored box, as well as the text for identification purposes. If needed, you may change the unit clock to either a specific time and date, set by the admin, or sync with the current time within Composer. Go To allows you to quickly navigate to an exact date without unnecessarily scrolling through the whole calendar. Select the Mixer app from the user dashboard to open. The Mixer app is a control server application that is license-based and is accessible by using any standard HTML web browser connected to the same network as the control server. The Mixer app is used to control parameters of a Composer site file. In this example, the faders and mutes of a gain module will be assigned to the Mixer app. Clicking the Manage Applications button will open the Manage Control Server Applications window. All configured applications will be displayed in this window. To add an application, click the Add App button. To edit an app, select the app from the displayed list, then click the Edit App button. The Edit Control Server Application window is used to name the app. This window is also used to enable or disable parameters of the app. The Mixer app controls up to 32 different faders and mutes. In order to assign control, the user must enable the number of desired faders and mutes. To assign parameters to be controlled by the Mixer app, double-click the DSP and open the Design View page. Double-click and open the module to be controlled, like this 32-channel gain module. Right-click the fader or mute being assigned and select Set Up to Remote Control. This opens the Setup Remote Control window. Select the CS app from the list of remote control devices. Then use the drop-down menu for Control Server app controls to assign the control to a specific fader or mute. Repeat this process until all faders and mutes have been assigned to the Mixer app. Then push the design to hardware. Either double-click the Control Server module from the Composer site view page, or type the IP address of the control server into a web browser to access the web interface. Log in under the administrator account. Open the Applications page. Drag or click the arrow to move the desired configuration down to the License Configurations section. Navigate to the Users page via Menu button, then click on the username. Drag or click the arrow to move the Mixer configuration from the available configurations down to the User Allowed configurations. Then click Save. Log in to the control server as the user. Refer to the Administrator Login chapter of this training for instructions to configure the user account. The user's dashboard will display a preview of all configurations available to the user. Click on the Mixer app to open it and begin controlling the system. Select the SymVue app from the user dashboard to open. SymVue for Control Server is a license-based application that allows users to access custom control screens created within Composer from any standard HTML web browser. Most objects in a Composer site file can be added to a control screen and exported to SymVue. Create a control screen using Composer software. For more information on building control screens, please see the Control Screens and SymVue for Windows chapter of this training course. Once a control screen has been created in Composer, open the Control Screen Manager from the Tools menu. Click the name of the control screen and select Export to SymVue. Select Control Server as the SymVue destination, then click the Next button. Highlight the starting control screen, then click Next. If desired, you may engage a security pin on all or select panels. This makes it necessary to enter the pin before navigating to said panel or panels. On the hardware connection window, choose Typical to ensure SymVue references the IP address of the DSPs as defined in the Composer site file. Check Go Online with Composer site file and export to Control Server. If there is more than one Control Server in the site file, use the drop-down to select the destination unit. If desired, change the file name of the panel being exported. Finally, check the Launch Control Server web page box and click Finish. The familiar Control Server web page will automatically open in the default browser. Follow the preceding steps of logging in as the admin and add the newly created SymVue screen to the user account. Open the Applications page. Drag or click the arrow to move the desired configuration down to the License Configurations section. Then click Save. Navigate to the Users page via Menu button, then click on the username. Drag or click the arrow to move the SymVue configuration from the available configurations down to the User Allowed configurations. Then click Save. Log into the user account. The new SymVue for Control Server configuration now appears on the user dashboard. Click on the preview to open it. In summary, the Control Server is a half-rack unit that provides end users browser-based control over any Symetrix Composer-based DSP. All applications are programmed with Symetrix Composer software. After logging into the admin account, the browser will default to the System Status page. This page displays system information, network information, and license information. The Event Scheduler app is a Control Server app that allows viewing, editing, creating, and scheduling of events that trigger presets based on a given date and time. The Mixer app is a Control Server is a license-based application that allows simple and user-friendly control of faders and mutes. SymVue for Control Server is a license-based application that allows users to access custom control screens created within Composer from any standard HTML web browser.